A few weeks ago, one of the members of our content marketing team, hello Rebecca, moved to the product team to the role of UX writer. And if you don't know who is UX writer, I'm going to talk about it in the next episode, so make sure to subscribe. So yes, since we lost one of the members of our content marketing team, we couldn't keep up with our content plan. We couldn't produce the content at the same pace that we were producing it before that. So obviously we needed to hire one more person. And usually whenever we need to hire marketers, before we start posting any job ads or look into specific communities, we would actually look into our own audience, because Ahrefs is a tool for SEO, Ahrefs is a tool for marketers. So we have a lot of marketers who are already following us, so there's a good chance that some of them would want to join us. So what I did is I posted a tweet saying that we're looking for writers for Ahrefs blog, and I tried to pre-qualify people by saying that your content standards should be kind of aligned with what we're already publishing on our blog, so come and take a look. And another pre-qualification step is that I asked them to not just email me their CV to my email address, I asked them for the samples of their work, because if they're experienced content marketers, they should have some content published, right? So yeah, then I included an image of our office, of people in our office, to the tweet to make it more engaging, because Twitter seems to be rewarding like extra media pictures and images in your tweets. And I also invested maybe, I think $100 or maybe $200 to promote the tweet to more audiences, just in case in our native audience we won't be able to find the right person. And as you may already know, the kind of right approach to hiring is to look at it as a funnel. So you should have a ton of people at the top of your funnel, and then you move them from a step to step, you qualify them so that by the end of the funnel you would have just a few perfect candidates. So yeah, you might have hundreds, maybe even thousands at the top, but at the bottom of the funnel you want to have like maybe 3 candidates between each you want to make a decision. And here is how our quote-unquote funnel for hiring a content marketer looks like. So the first step is to promote the tweet to reach a lot of people, and like I said, there was a little bit of pre-qualification, because I told in a tweet that we need people who would be publishing content in a way that we're publishing it on Ahrefs blog. Second, I asked them for the samples, and this is actually the first step in qualifications. So as soon as we saw the samples, we knew which people would be like good candidates and which people would be bad candidates. So for good candidates, there was another step, which is we gave them a few topics and we asked them to write an outline. Like, what are they going to talk about if we would assign this topic to them? How would they make their article interesting? What would be unique about the article? What kind of spin, what kind of angle they're going to take? And how do they plan to outrank the articles that are already ranking in Google for the topic that we've given them? Because at the end of the day, our goal with content that we publish on the Ahrefs blog is to rank for whatever topic we are targeting. So that was step 2, and we were weeding out quite a few people when they failed to provide us with an outline for a specific topic that we wanted to see. But for those people where the outlines seemed promising, we offered to pay them for a test article. So we would give them our feedback on their outline, show them how we would approach that or how to make it more interesting, and then ask them to write a draft article, just one draft, without any revisions or anything, and we would offer to pay them a fixed amount of money for the draft. So yeah, we don't ask to write draft articles for free. We think all work should be paid for, but at the same time we negotiate like a draft test rate so that not to pay them full sum for the article, because the chances are we are not going to publish it anyway. And finally, in this specific funnel of ours, I think we ended up with 3 or 4 best candidates, and we had Skype calls with them, Skype calls with me, Skype calls with other members of our content marketing team to understand the cultural fit, to understand how they act in communication, and if you're going to enjoy working with each other. One more thing, in terms of requirements, the things that we're looking for in a skilled copywriter, for us, for our blog specifically, we would rather give preference to domain expertise. So for us, we have a blog about SEO, so we would rather encourage people who have actual practical experience in SEO write for us, as opposed to skilled copywriters. So you might not be as good with writing engaging articles, but you have a lot of experience to share. So we think that it would be easier for us to teach you a few copywriting best practices that would make your articles better and more engaging, and how to format them and all that stuff, other than teaching you the actual SEO that we talk about on our blog. Everyone wants to have that blue Twitter checkmark, right? And as far as I know, they discontinued the program of publicly giving out those checkmarks a few years ago. And back when it was still available, I actually applied, so I filled in the question form, but I got rejected. So how did I end up getting that blue Twitter checkmark eventually? As we started promoting our tweets from our branded account, from Ahrefs Twitter account, please follow it if you're not following it yet, someone from Twitter has reached out to us, some kind of manager, and said that they are going to be our personal manager, they're going to answer all our questions, help us optimize campaigns, etc., etc. To which I thought, it's kind of direct access to Twitter, so why don't we, if they want us to spend money on their platform, why don't we ask them to get verified? Because they are reaching out to us already, they know that we are a legit company, so why not give us a checkmark? So we asked our Twitter representative to apply for the checkmark on behalf of Ahrefs brand. We have provided them with some information that they were asking for, and maybe a week later we got the blue checkmark on Ahrefs Twitter profile. I think the main argument that worked for us, for our brand, to get that blue checkmark is that we said people, when they see that blue checkmark, it's a sign of credibility. So if we would have that sign of credibility, we would be more likely to work on our Twitter profile, we would be more eager to spend more money in ads, because we know that with that blue checkmarks, we're going to get more exposure, we're going to get more attention to our tweets and to our account. So I think it worked, and they gave us that blue checkmark. So then, as I previously mentioned, I put some money into my personal tweet from my personal account where I was looking for content marketers to join our company. So I thought, okay, so I'm already spending money on Twitter ads from my personal account, but for business purposes. Why wouldn't I be able to ask for blue Twitter checkbox with pretty much the same reasoning that we used to get the checkbox for our main brand account? And yeah, we reached out to our Twitter representative and we said that Chief Marketing Officer of Ahrefs team also wants to have the blue checkmark because we are going to use his personal profile for business purposes. We are going to promote some messages that wouldn't go well from a branded account, but would be perceived better if a person was tweeting them. But I cannot say exactly if that reasoning alone was enough to persuade them to give me the blue checkmarks, because they still asked for 3 to 5 links that would prove my kind of authority and my reach. So here are the things that I've provided them with. I sent them a link to my Oversimplified SEO series on YouTube, where a total of 20 videos that I recorded generated more than 500,000 views in total. Then I sent them a link to my Medium blog, where my articles, I think it's less than 20 articles, but they surpassed more than 100,000 views in total. I also sent them a link to my Blogging for Business course, because at the top of it there are a bunch of tweets from seasoned marketers giving me some praise on the quality of that course, which I thought could work in my favor. And finally, I sent them a link to my personal page at Ahrefs, ahrefs.com/team, where I'm basically listing most of my work, all the podcast interviews that I've done, all the conference talks, both offline and online, some of the research studies that I've published on Ahrefs blog, and all the links to my social media profiles, just to prove that I'm a real person. And yeah, I'm not sure if these things were enough to prove that I'm quote-unquote influencer who deserves to have the check mark, or the business reasoning that we're going to use my personal account for business purposes and we're going to invest ads, which we're actually doing, so we didn't lie. Please don't lie if you're going to follow that framework. But yeah, eventually it worked, and I now have a blue check mark on my Twitter profile. Woohoo! Around 4 years ago, I started a pretty cool tradition on Reddit. So shortly after joining Ahrefs, I didn't feel that I have a good understanding of the market, of the audience, of the SEO space. And I discovered that there's a subreddit for experienced SEO people. It's called Big SEO. So I went to this subreddit and I started a thread saying, I am Tim Solo from Ahrefs and I'm looking for your feedback please tell me what you think about our tools, criticize us, praise us, whatever you want to say it. It turned out that the SEO community was actually eager to give feedback, because that thread got 122 comments, and I cannot say that I handled all the comments and all the criticism well, but overall it was a very good thing to do, because I got a lot of feedback and I got a good understanding of where Ahrefs was positioned in the market. Fast forward 2 years, in summer, I remembered about that thread. I checked the date when it was published, and I realized that within a few weeks it's going to be 2-year anniversary of the thread. So I thought it could be a nice thing to post the same thread on the same day 2 years later, which I did. And again, that thread got 2 years later, it got 119 comments, it got 62 upvotes, and they even got Reddit Gold for asking for the feedback again. This is when I understood that I'm going to repeat that same tradition every 2 years. And recently, this August, I posted a third thread. I said, it's been 4 years and I'm still looking for your feedback, so please tell me what you think about Ahrefs, what do you want in terms of features, like anything. And again, that thread got 122 comments and 93 upvotes. And I think right now this thread is ranking number 4 in top threads of this subreddit from this year. So yeah, I'm tremendously biased, but for me it is a pretty cool tradition, and I'm actually looking forward to repeating that thread 2 years later. And I think 2 years is a perfect time frame, because people don't get tired of me asking like every single month or like 2 times a year. I think 2 years is a pretty good time frame. One more thing, even though my primary goal with this vlog is to share things that are happening in Ahrefs marketing department specifically, what we're doing and what works for us, I'm also thinking that for more educational value, I'm going to mention other things that inspire us. And one of these things, speaking of tapping into online communities, is what Noah Kagan did some 5 years ago. He was launching a free course on how to get traffic to your website, and he invited 11 experts, I think, to contribute to this course, to provide content for this course. And so, to promote that course on Reddit, what he did is he invited all those experts to do a group AMA on subreddit called Entrepreneur. It is one of the biggest subreddits for businesses, for startups, and for marketing people. So it was a pretty good stunt, I think. And with that subreddit, he ended up getting 331 comments and 95 upvotes. So I think it was an absolutely great idea to do a group AMA with experts with known people that were contributing to your course. And I was looking for an opportunity to kind of steal this idea, to use this idea for Ahrefs marketing. And I kind of more or less found that opportunity when guys from Indie Hackers invited me to do an AMA for them. So what I thought is that because I did podcast interview with Indie Hackers before, I thought that it might not be interesting for their community to do AMA with me specifically. But what I offered instead, why don't we do AMA with entire Ahrefs marketing team, meaning that people can ask any questions they want to hear in terms of SaaS marketing, and people from our members of our marketing department would jump in and answer their question if they feel they're the best person to answer it. So that thread on Indie Hackers, it wasn't as viral as a thread of Noah Kagan at Entrepreneur, because our marketing department is basically Ahrefs, while Noah Kagan was working with a bunch of influencers from different areas, so he generated more engagement. But still, with that twist of group AMA on Indie Hackers, we were able to get 73 comments and 40 upvotes, which is a pretty good result. And in top posts of August, we ranked number 11. This is not mind-blowing, but I think this is a pretty good result. And if I did my personal AMA with team, I think it would have performed much worse. As always, at the end of each episode of SaaS Marketing Vlog, I'm giving out 30-minute Skype consultation with me. If you're interested to talk with me about your marketing, about your company, about your business, the rules are simple. Please leave any comment below this video. You can criticize me, you can add your stories of the things that I've shared, or you can ask me questions. Just add hashtag Team30 so that I would know that you're not just leaving a comment, but also enrolling yourself to participate in the giveaway of 30-minute Skype call with me. That's it. I'm looking forward to your comments and see you in the next episode.